Good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, March 24th, 2020. So I'm sure that most of you have heard already that the governor of Virginia has decided to close the schools in person for the rest of the year. We will still continue to meet online and do our online learning. I will keep on posting our videos so that we can stay connected. And I'm going to see if there's any way that we can set up a Google Hangout or a Zoom meeting or something like that so that we can talk face to face and I can answer any of the questions that you need answered and we can work through some of our classwork through there. I did set up our Google Classroom so we can start using that. I've already put the assignments from yesterday up on there so that we can start getting through that and learning how to use the program and learning how to use that website so that we can all learn and grow from it together. I'm going to walk you through today one of the lessons that I'm posting for math on the Google Slides on that Google Classroom so that you know how I'm planning on setting everything up so that you know how to do it when it comes time to really settling into Google Classroom. So today for math, we're going to do something pretty simple. We're just going to be doing our counting. We're going to be doing a 25 chart, fill in the blank 25 chart, a fill in the blank 50s chart, and a fill in the blank 100s chart. So I'm going to show you on those slides how to open it up and then how to start entering in your numbers so that you can fill those in. I've also started making slides for each lesson so that we can go through and you can do your learning. You can read each slide and learn about what we are covering. And there are also going to be moments where you can drag and drop things into answer boxes and different answer boxes that you'll be able to type into to submit your answer. So I'm hoping that we can find a fun, interactive way of doing our math and doing our language arts. I'm still working on language arts a little bit and getting things set up so that we can do fun things on there as well. And I'm trying to see if there's some way that we can do some drawing on there so that we can get a lot of our drawing down, because I know that's a way that a lot of us show what we're thinking and show how a story unfolds. I'm also looking into different ways that we can learn how to do our typing on the computer, since that seems to be what we're really focusing on in our learning right now. Is I don't want anyone to feel like they're being held back because they don't know how to type yet. So we're going to be doing some typing classes into our curriculum now as well. So I'll find some fun games to see how we can do our typing, how we can practice that, and that way we feel absolutely comfortable going in and completing these assignments online where we do have to type. Now, I do still want us to practice our handwriting. I am still going to be looking for that, and I am going to be looking for a couple of assignments where you take a picture of your handwriting so that you can submit that to me. Now, I know that not everybody has a primary journal at home with them. When I say primary journal, I mean one that looks a little something like this. Okay, so when I'm talking about primary ruled journals, I'm talking about this top one up here. This one will have our solid blue line, our dotted lines, and our red line at the bottom so that we can work on our handwriting and knowing where exactly to place our letters. So for example, if we were to write the word hi, we would, like hi above, we would write our H starting at the top line all the way down, bring it up, trace and touch that dotted line, and bring it back down to the solid. Our I is a lowercase I, so it's going to start at the dotted line here, and it'll go straight down, and we'll do our dot at the top. Our G is going to start just below that dotted line, curve around, come back up to the dotted, And it's a hanging letter, so it's going to go below that red line. And then our H is a tall letter. Again, it's going to start at that top, go straight down, up, and around. So this is how it would look on a primary ruled notebook. I know a lot of us have our college ruled or our wide ruled notebooks that will look a little bit more like this. And normally we would do our writing on this line, and when we're finished with that, we would go right down to the bottom line and continue our writing. But if that's all that you have, since we're focusing on the way that we write our letters and trying to make it look neat and printed well, what I want us to do, if this is what you have, is treat this line like our dotted line. So I want you to do your writing taking up 2 lines. So if we were going to write hi again, we would start up at the very top of the first one and go all the way down to the bottom of the second one. Bring it around, treat that middle line like it's our dotted line. I, G, H. So I know that not all of us have these primary journals, but if you don't, go ahead and use the wide and college ruled and just treat that middle line like our dotted line. So just skip every line so that we can focus on making sure that our handwriting is still looking neat and we're practicing our handwriting the way that we should. I am going to see if I can get in touch with Dr. Nyquist about doing a pickup of our school supplies. If we're able to do that, that would be great, because I know that we have a lot of primary journals at the school that I can pass out to you all. Then you can also pick up any books that we may have left behind, and then we can start integrating that into our online studies as well. Today, for our Scholastics work, we are going to be learning about bears. Now, we learned a little while ago about hibernation, migration, and adaptation. So we know that there are 3 different ways that our animals can treat the winter and how they get through it. Now, we learned that hibernation means that you take a long sleep. Now, it's not like your normal sleep. Instead, the heart rate goes down, the temperature goes down. The animals that do the hibernation will eat a lot of food right before so that they can last through the winter. And they're going to sleep not for just hours like we sleep at night, but they're going to sleep for months until they wake up in springtime. Some of our animals will migrate. So those are animals that probably have their wings, might have fins, so that they can actually travel to get away from the winter weathers. That's going to be like our whales, our birds, our monarch butterflies will fly from Canada all the way down to Mexico so that they're not affected by the winter weather. And then we have some animals like fox, the snow rabbit, squirrels. They will learn to adapt. And what that means is they will stay up here in the winter, stay up where they're living in the winter, and they'll just learn how to get through that. So they might develop a thicker fur. They might change the color of their fur. They will burrow underground to stay warm at night and then come out during the day. There are lots of different ways that they adapt. We are also creatures that adapt during the winter months and during the summer months. Now, we're learning about our bear today, and they hibernate. And the video that you're going to watch today is probably going to look very familiar. We are going to watch the video "The Bear Snores On." And when you're finished with that video, I want you to kind of think about how different it was watching the video versus how we read it in school and how we learned how to comprehend the story. What happened first? What happened in the middle? What happened at the end? I also want you to think about the different sounds that you hear in the story, how that helps us understand what is going on and how that affected the bear. When you're finished watching that video, you're going to read "A Bear Cub Grows Up," and then you're going to complete those little activities at the end of it. And last, you're going to watch another video called Bedtime for Bears and learn about how they get ready for their hibernation. And then at the very end, there's a little activity where you can create your own bear's den. So you get your blankets and your sheets and your pillows, and you can create your own very comfy bear den for you to hibernate in for a little bit. You can also grab your stuffed animals and treat them like the animals that were coming in to visit the bear in his den during the Bear Snores On. Now we're going to take a look at our caterpillars to see how they're coming along. It looks like we have some really big, cool changes coming up ahead. So let me go show you how those are looking now. Take a look at our little caterpillars here. A lot of them are making it up to the top of their container, and they're doing this because they want to make that little J shape. Do you see that caterpillar in the back making that little J hook over there? So they're doing, oh, look, we've got a couple in here doing it. And then I have a few in this back one doing it. Now they're doing that so that they can get ready to start making their cocoon so that they can turn into that butterfly. So that will probably be about 2 or 3 days for them to get hardened up so that we can move them over to their net. And it'll probably take, I think, about a week from the moment that they start making their cocoons before they come out as a butterfly. So I want you to take a look at how they look right now, and I want you to record that into your caterpillar butterfly journal. I want you to draw a picture of how they're looking. Probably add some of those caterpillars that are hanging in that J shape to show that this is one of those major changes that are going on right now. And go ahead and write a sentence or two about how they are changing. I'm going to try and set up an assignment on either Google Classroom or ClassDojo to see how your journals are coming along and see what you've been drawing for each day. Don't forget to put the date at the very top so that we can track how their changes are happening day to day. It's very important to add the date so that you always know what's going on, and when you look back on this in a week, or when you look back on this in a month or a year or in 10 years, you can look at it and see what was happening, how long it took for these caterpillars to transform. I'm going to be posting a video later about how to navigate through the Google Classroom. I'll show you how to open up your assignments, where you can find resources and the slides that I post about each lesson going on, and how to do an assignment on a Google slide, and what it will look like when I return the assignment and post any comments if I do. And I saw that there was also a way to set it up with boom cards for them to do assignments through that as well, and that's going to be a lot more interactive and a lot more like a game, and it'll kind of make this a little bit more fun. I know that this is a lot of changes, but we will work through this together and we'll get through this together, and I think that this is going to be amazing for everybody. I'm really sad to know that we're not going to be in the classroom again for the rest of the year, and I know that we've come a really long way and we've gone through a lot together. And just remember, everybody, what we talked about just a few weeks ago, that hey, there are going to be a lot of changes going on. Remember, there's always good from the changes that come. Just like our caterpillars right now, they're going to go through a really big change and they're going to turn into beautiful butterflies. We had a lot of changes going on in our classrooms where we had new kids coming in, and my new kids, remember, it was a big change coming from your old school and coming in here. But it was a great change, and I love having you all in my classroom. Even if my classroom is now in my living room and your guys' classroom is in your living room or your kitchen or your bedroom, I'm really excited for us to continue to grow and learn from each other, and I'm really excited to figure out how to tackle these new changes and how to push through, because you know what, we're gonna keep on getting through it, and we're gonna come out so much stronger in the end. And we're gonna look back on this one day and go, hey, remember when I was going through kindergarten and we had to close the schools and we kept on learning in our pajamas at home on the computer, and how fun was that? So on that note, I will see you guys later. Have a great Tuesday, and I can't wait to see all the wonderful things that you do today. Bye, everybody.